Have you ever really stopped to think about the journey a medicine takes before it gets to you? It's this incredible high-stakes journey, a real gauntlet where, believe me, most contenders fail. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden world of clinical trials. So, this is the big question, right? How does that tiny little idea in a laboratory beaker end up becoming the trusted pill in your medicine cabinet? Well, the answer is a process, one of the most demanding and crucial processes in all of science. And here's our roadmap for this whole thing, the clinical trial gauntlet. A potential new medicine has to fight its way through 5 distinct phases to prove it's worthy. And let me tell you, most of them, they just don't make it. So let's dive into each stage. But before we even get to the science, before a single person participates, we have to talk about the rules of the road, because the entire system is built on this absolute bedrock of ethics. The safety and well-being of the volunteers, that's priority number 1, non-negotiable. Okay, so what are we actually talking about when we say clinical trial? Think of it like a super-controlled, forward-looking experiment. The keywords are prospective and controlled. That just means it's designed from the get-go to minimize bias, so we can get really clear, reliable answers about whether a new treatment is both safe and effective. And these rules, they are not suggestions. They are ironclad. Every single person has to give their informed consent, which means they know exactly what they're signing up for. An ethics board has to agree that the potential good outweighs the risks, and this is huge. A volunteer can walk away from a trial at any time, for any reason, no questions asked. So, with that ethical framework locked in, the journey can finally begin. And these very first steps in humans, they're all about one thing. And it's not, does it work? Not yet. It's the most fundamental, most important question of all. Is it safe? It actually starts with a step most people have never even heard of, phase 0. This isn't about treating anyone. Researchers give a teeny tiny amount of the drug, a microdose, to just see what the human body does with it. How does it absorb it? How does it get rid of it? It's a quick first filter to weed out the duds early. And when I say tiny, I mean tiny. We're talking maybe 10, 15 people, tops. It's all about getting that first little peek into how it works in a human body without taking big risks before you commit to a much bigger, much more expensive trial. So, if a drug passes that first little screening, it gets to move on to phase 1. Now the real safety test begins. The whole point here is to carefully figure out a safe dosage range and spot any immediate side effects. It's still all about safety, safety, safety. And you'll see the numbers start to climb. We're now looking at maybe 20 to 100 people, who are usually healthy volunteers. They start with super low doses and just slowly, carefully ramp it up to find what they call the maximum tolerated dose. All right, so if a drug has proven it's safe enough, everything changes. The whole game pivots. This is the moment of truth, the ultimate proving ground. We finally get to ask the question we've all been waiting for. Does this thing actually work for the people it's supposed to help? And that happens right here in phase 2. This is a huge milestone because for the very first time, the drug is given to actual patients, people who have the condition it's designed to treat. It's the first real proof of concept that this idea might actually work in the real world. So the scale gets bigger again, now up to a few hundred patients. What researchers are looking for is a signal, any sign that the drug is having the therapeutic effects they hoped for. And of course, they are still watching safety like a hawk while they try to figure out the best dose. Now, if a drug makes it through phase 2 with promising results, it heads into the big leagues, phase 3. You got to understand, this is the most massive, most expensive, and honestly, the most critical part of the whole journey. This is the final exam. Think of phase 3 as the final showdown. The new drug goes head-to-head with either a placebo, a sugar pill, or whatever the current best treatment is. It can't just be as good. It has to prove that it's significantly better, all while still being safe. And the scale here is just, wow. We're talking thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of patients, often all over the world. You need those huge numbers to get the rock-solid statistical proof that regulators, like the FDA, demand before they'll even think about saying yes. So let's imagine our little drug has done it. It survived the gauntlet, passed phase 3, and gets the official stamp of approval. The journey's over, right? Wrong. The testing, it is not done yet. Not even close. The final phase happens after it's already on the market. This is phase 4, and it's all about what happens in the messy, real world. I mean, once a drug is out there and potentially millions of people are using it, you can start to spot those super rare or long-term side effects, things you'd never see in a trial of just a few thousand people. It's a continuous safety check that can even uncover new uses for the medicine. So let's just take a breath and look at the whole journey at once. You can see how we go from just a handful of volunteers in phase 0, simply seeing how the drug moves through the body, all the way to a massive population in phase 4, where its real-world safety is monitored for years. Every single phase builds on the one before it. So why? Why go through this incredibly long, incredibly expensive, and frankly, brutal process? The reason is actually pretty simple, and it connects directly to every single one of us. It all comes down to one word: trust. Yeah, this quote really says it all. This whole rigorous gauntlet is the foundation of what we call evidence-based medicine. It's the difference between science and just guessing. It's the reason you can trust that the treatments your doctor prescribes are based on real, hard data, proving they're both safe and effective. And that leaves us with a really fascinating thought for the future. This system has served us incredibly well for decades, but it's not set in stone. With all the new tech coming online, I'm talking about AI that can predict drug interactions or personalized medicine tailored to your specific DNA, how might this long journey evolve? It's a question that is absolutely going to define the future of how we heal.